Hello, stamping friends. This is Jenny from Celebrate the Journey. I popped on for a second earlier and I was sideways, so now we'll see if we can be straight. With a little more light going here. I think that works. I had set the camera up earlier and I think it just decided to flip on me. I don't know why things like that happen, but that happens. It's Wednesday and it's 5 o'clock. So I've been thinking of a name since I've changed the time. I think live at 5 works for me. I know it's not 5 o'clock for everybody, but it is for me. So we might stick with that. So let me tell you how this card happened today. Well, a couple of reasons. We reorganized our card stash this week. We got some new shoe boxes to put cards in because they were kind of out of control. And Robert said, we don't have any get well cards at all. None. Not any. So I decided I would do that. I said, well, okay, I'll make some in the next couple of days. Well, yesterday I was working on trying to use up some last minute Christmas paper because I'm bound and determined to not have any leftover Christmas paper. And I cut a bunch of white pieces and they were the wrong size. So, and I have all these pieces I need to use. So I had to come up with a design that would use 3 1/4, I think, or 3 1/2 by 5. I mean, it's not an odd size, but it wasn't the size I needed for my Christmas card. So I decided I would use those today. And this is the pattern design I came up with using the tulips. Because tulips are always a fun thing to get if you're not feeling well. And this piece fit. I made it work. I just made it work on the card. So I thought we would make one like this, but I'm going to use grape this time. So we'll walk through it and see how this card came to be. And I can make 2 all at once, I think. So that will, let me tell you, this was 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And then I just cut gorgeous grape 1/8 of an inch larger to give it a nice border. And then I have this is from the party pattern pack or pattern party pack. And it was just the pretty granny apple green. So I thought that would give a nice accent to our paper, because we got to fill up the front of the card. So I used that piece of green. I was trying to use up this paper. So I'm going to run these through the brick embossing powder. It's called Brick and Mortar. Just to give it a little texture. I don't think I can I can't get both of them in at the same time. So Lynn, thanks for joining me, and Karen, and Marge. My goodness, the whole crew is here tonight. Thanks for popping in. While I'm running this through, let me tell you, some of you, my very good customers, I spent the day in the basement today going through my retired stuff and packaging it up to sell it. Most of it's gently used. Some of it has never been used, especially if it was a celebration set that I had multiples. And I'm almost through, but my goodness, it's just terrible how much stuff you can accumulate. So if you know of any retired stamps, papers, ribbons, or dies that you've been looking for, let me know and I'll see if they're in my stash, and otherwise you'll have to just bid on them when I put them on my Facebook page. Lots of Christmas from last year. Lots of dies that are just basic shapes that don't necessarily go with a stamp set. So some of those you might be interested in, but just if there's any in particular, send me a message and I'll be glad to see if I have it. And then I'm going to do some mystery boxes too with, embossing folders, ribbons, papers, those kinds of things. Now we can go ahead and stuff hitting the floor. Put this on our card front. I just have a regular card base. I've been trying to use up stuff that I've even gone through fast views today to try to use up some of that stuff. You either liked fast views or you hated it. And it was okay with me. I think this is one here. We can measure that too, just in case it's 1.5. I don't know that it really needs the oomph of 1.5. If it was just going to be a border, you could have a little less, but since it's supposed to be an accent piece, you need the 1.5 bright green. Oh, I'm glad you like 7. I do too. Because then I can eat dinner and do this, eat dinner, and chill out for the rest of the evening. I hope I'm not like messing up Jeopardy or anything like that, though. That I don't watch those shows, but I think this is about the time they're on. Oops, I forgot. We were going to put this little piece of vellum doily. And since I'm only using half of it, I cut it in half so I could use more. Have 2 cards. And I think I can get that in there. That's what happens when you get busy talking. That just gives a little extra there. We'll see if we can put this one in the right place without. Oh, I think my Tombo's clogged up again. I just wanted a little poking out from the side there. It's hard to see on camera, but in real life you can see it a little better. I think this is the end of this roll, so I will switch. I'm sorry, we'll just switch to Tombow for the rest of this card. And then I'll get out some more seal. So you Papa's ladies, did you win door prizes? I heard that the luncheon was really nice, so let's hope so. Now I need to stamp a stem. We'll stamp that with Granny Apple Green. I need 2 of those since I'm doing 2 cards. And I need quite a few leaves. Now these we have to fussy cut because they don't match the punch. Remember I told you I like using up my stuff? Check this out. I stamped these wrong too, so I'm using the back of it. Don't want to waste anything. And then we need some tulips. And we're going to do them with a gorgeous grape. It's the darker. You could do some of, we might do some light and some lighter, darker. We might kind of play with that and see. How that works. I wasn't even sure actually if there was much difference in the colors. I know the cardstock is a big difference. But the ink, this is a little bit lighter, not a whole lot. So we just need 2 of those. But we need 4 of the larger. So I've got 2. I think I can get 1 off of this scrap. Just using these scraps here. And no, that's not big enough. I think this one is. Okay, there we go. Now we'll be putting these together pretty quick. Now we can punch the large tulip butterfly. I don't know what made me say that. There we go. It was a little bit stuck. One. And I'm going to cut this one off because he'll get caught in the punch if I'm not careful. Oh, you got Whimsy and Wonder. That's nice. Those things you made for the care home were really great. I have some more frosted foliage, but not much. I'm telling you, I used that frosted from last year a lot. It was one of my favorites. Yeah, it's nice to have things ready for next year for Christmas, isn't it? And then you can enjoy making all the cards that you would have been making for Christmas. Get ahead on things. I need to get ahead on some birthday cards now. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be number 4. I can get it in there. I have a feeling this punch and stamp set will retire this year. I am not doing well with that, so I'm going to put a handle on it. So if you've been thinking about this one, go ahead and order it. So I don't think it'll last. It's been around for quite a while. It's been a good staple, hasn't it? It just makes it easier if you give it. Using scraps, sometimes you have to adapt. Now we can do our leaves. It must be this way. I love Granny Apple Green. You know, we'll get new colors this year. I'm wondering what they'll be. I'll have to wait and see what the Pantone colors are of the year. I think that's usually a pretty good indicator, at least in the color family that we're going to get. And our last one here, let's see if we can get it in there. Now I got a bunch of chads here to get rid of. But getting 2 cards done at once is always a bonus. Now we do have to fussy cut these, which is not too bad. Oh, fresh frost for sympathy. Maybe I need to look into that. I have really been on a I couldn't remember this the other day, and Robert had to tell me. When you do a whole bunch of all at one time, assembly line cards. I have been I don't really like to do that. I like each card to be special, I guess. But sometimes when you've got so much stuff and you know you need to use it, you might as well just do it assembly line. And since I give quite a few cards away, people don't know that it was an assembly card. I like to give my friends a pack of 10 or 12 cards. My non-crafty friends. They appreciate getting cards. Especially they like thinking of you or blank or birthday. Those are the popular ones. So feels like frost. I'll have to see if I can make some sympathy cards with those. Unless you need more, I can send you some paper. So we're just about through here with the leaves, and then we just got 2 little flowers. And here we go. I don't think, you know, we were supposed to have wind today, and we did, but not like we were thinking we would have. But apparently parts of Denver and Colorado had terrible wind, and ours just wasn't as bad as it could have been, so I'm glad. But we put all the furniture out, yard furniture, where it wouldn't get blown over or broken, and picked up all the pots, and then the wind didn't come. It was very windy from about 8 to 10 this morning, and then it kind of calmed down. You just, well, I won't say don't trust the weatherman, because they're doing the best they can. They don't know exactly where the storms are going to go, I guess. They didn't come here. But they did close some roads, and people are without power. Just not us. So we're okay today. All right, now we're ready to put our little cards together and put our ink pad out of the way. And I can cut that off just a tiny bit. Well, this is one thing I like. This uses a little bit of DSP, but literally the rest of it's stamping. And I love DSP, but I like stamping a lot too. I think that's what hooked me in the first place. I was thinking this morning too about, do you remember when you had brads? And you had brads that looked like buttons and looked like Christmas trees and jingle bells, and there was even a store that just sold, an online store that just sold all kinds of brads. And now they're not very popular. They probably didn't mail very well anyway. When you think about it. But they sure were awfully cute to have all those fun little brads. Look like wine glasses. All kinds of. What kind of brads did you have? I know I had some that looked like Christmas trees. And buttons. I think Stampin' Up! Sold some that looked like buttons. We have some in the catalog this time, some black and white. They're either squares or rectangles. And I bought them, but I haven't used them yet. Because I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a retro look. we'll add our little snug our leaves in here. Lots of there we go. Now these kind of need the smaller dimensionals, because they're kind of narrow. We can get them on here. Alrighty, so the skinny ones are up towards the top. The thicker leaves are at the bottom. Kind of just create a little bouquet here, a tulip bouquet. Remember last year when I said something about tulips and then somebody sent me some tulips in the mail? Well, delivered, the florist. That was so funny. I won't beg for tulips this year. No begging allowed. I'd rather beg for candy. Robert would hide it from me though. It should be the Amazon, if Amazon delivers. The store people sure work hard, don't they? Here we go. We're just about done here. We got to put our sentiment on. And I wanted to make sure I emphasize that vellum. So I created a little vellum banner to go with it. I'll show you how I did that. Try to make sure you pull all your elements together with a kind of a theme. So we'll put these to the side for just a second, and we'll stamp our sentiments on a piece of scrap, that little 1/4 inch that's always left over. I try to keep those in a safe place. And this says get well soon. I'll give it a little mermaid tail. Then I just cut a 1/4 inch, I guess that's about a 1/4 inch piece of vellum, and we're gonna layer it. So we'll give this a mermaid tail. I think vellum is something we forget to use. Oh, when you run it through the embossing folder, it looks so cool too. So that's something you might want to consider. And we'll cut it just a tiny bit longer. Especially, I think some people ordered the Scripty embossing folder that was on the clearance rack. And that one really looks cool when you run it through a piece of vellum through the embossing folder. Because it gives it those gives it that scripty look, but doesn't make it be too detailed, kind of subtle. And we're just going to adhere this with these glue dots. You could use tape here, I think, also. Get off of there. And let's see, I'm going to do it a little bit of an angle. There. Turn that off. There's one. I think I will use tape on this just to make it a little easier. I can get the fast fuse to come out. We can't see the vellum behind there, so nobody will know. It's one thing, you have to use something that doesn't show behind vellum. And we'll put that on with some dimensionals, and we'll be done. Pretty quick and easy here. I hope I mailed one get well card today, and I hope I don't need to mail any more for a while. But at least I'll have some ready. I have to come up with some for masculine get well next. I think I'll snip that off. There. If you did, you could do the tulips in darker colors like that. Cherry cobbler, or some of the Cajun craze would be pretty with darker yellows, like yellow. I think we could work that out for a masculine card. But I bet we could also come up with something else. So let's put a twine bows on here. They can have a little bit of a tail. And you know, my neighbor is teaching me how to quilt. But with Christmas, we got a little behind and busy. But I made some quilted Christmas ornaments. I took a picture yesterday. I'll have to post it the next time I get my phone out. Do you think I needed another craft? But I've always liked to sew. So I thought I'd just do that during the winter time when it's cold. and I can't get out as much. And put that little sweet little bow on there. Could have put shiny or and then matte dots. Of course, we got to have these. These are some of the kind of primary cherry cobbler, bumblebee, granny apple green, and is that I don't know what color that is. Can't remember. Pretty peacock, maybe. It's a little darker than pretty peacock. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's in the catalog. It'll tell you what colors these are. I just can't remember them. But the green looks pretty. So we're good with that. All right, thanks for joining me tonight. Let's chat for a minute while I get this all straight. Don't forget, if you want to do Merry Makers, the deadline for that is pretty soon. I think it's the 20th. And those cards will be using the Sunshine paper and light-hearted lines. That's a funny sentiments. So we got 2 of, this is Poppy Parade, and 2 with Gorgeous Grape. So don't get sick, but if you do, I'll send you a card. How's that sound? Let's see if I've missed anything else. Don't forget the clearance rack is going on. The end of the holiday catalog is on last chance. And some of those things are already sold out. And I heard most of you got your catalogs already. So I hope you've been looking at them and figuring out what you want to order in January. And be ready with your order first thing. I think January 4th is the first day you can order. But, of course, we'll be teasing you with that a little bit. Crazy Crafters will be showing some sneak peeks after Christmas. And we'll entice you to add a few more things to your stash. So thanks for joining me tonight and helping me rescue this miscut paper. It's always nice to be able to use what you've made mistakes with. There's never a mistake. It's always an opportunity for creativity. All right, thanks for joining me tonight, and I will see you next week. Bye.